At the beginning of this century and the end of the last, great minds started to accumulate ideas and realities about how the mind works. It was the previous of humanity's experience that these great minds started to award the public with their own ideas on how your life works and how you can create vision and thoughts and reality with the power of your mind. Now, when this all started to find traction and young men started to become interested in this, there was a great fear by the powers that be that young men may start to create their own life, a better life for themselves and the people around them. And the elites of the time would not have liked this, because that would have meant less for them and a more shared experience of life for everybody else. And then, wouldn't you know, World War I started, and that got rid of hundreds and hundreds of thousands of young fighting age men with willpower, and that willpower from those young men could have started a new reality on this existence. The educated young men would have passed this knowledge on to the more uneducated men, but they all would gain an understanding of how they function and how the world works and how they can create reality with their thoughts. And not just that, but understand what the universe is and how we belong and own it. It's one and the same. How our spirit is the key to creating the reality in which we first see with our mind's eye. And then World War II happened as well. Now, there are many reasons and theories of why World War I and World War II started, and I haven't got time to go into all that now. But know this, it was very convenient that this information that had just been discovered about mind power and willpower and desire force and how you can govern or control your own destiny with your own mind. Rather convenient that, don't you think? So, is this a fact? I don't know. But if you start to add up the jigsaw pieces, you will understand that it all come apart just when this information started to take root and flourish. It's something to think about. It's something to dwell upon. It's something for further thought. Just imagine if the world did not work the way you thought it worked? What if the way it works something like this? When you have a thought, an idea, a desire, or the will to do something in the world, what if the workings of that started out in the smallest possible unit? What if it started from the all-encompassing radiation and the energy that permeates everything within the universe? Let's just call this the Planck's scale. What if, when you have an idea or thought with your consciousness, this starts to create a bubble which rises up from this Planck's scale and then turned into an electron, a proton, or a quark, or whatever subatomic particles there are, and then they start to transform into a new idea or form or a new reality, a new thing, a new idea. What if then, if you kept thinking about that same force, that same idea or thought, what if that started to become real, not just in your mind, but in actual physical reality? What if the world and reality worked by way of consciousness? There are books written about this. Many are religious books, religious texts, occult texts of years gone by. If the world really did work like that, and science does not know if it does or does not, but if it did, that would change everything about this world, this human experience. But you can't just think things into existence, can you? It needs work. It needs contemplation. It needs will power and desire force. It needs a proper investigation with your own mind to make this reality real. We all do this kind of thing on a daily basis anyway, don't we? We think things and then we do things. It's mainly the mundane. But anyone who's ever started a business knows that usually the business comes from an idea, a simple glitch in their mind in which they build from. And because they concentrate or focus upon that idea then becomes reality. And because you make that reality in your mind, which then passes through to the reality we all live, then that thought or the reality what is created from that thought then becomes reality to everybody else. For example, an iPhone was just an idea once in somebody's mind. That then transmuted or changed into reality. And now it's a very popular phone. What if the world really did work like this? But then surely there would be people who know this information and they would try and hide it from you. They would try and stress you out so your mind does not think clearly and cannot focus. They would misguide the information in which you learn at school. They would corrupt the media into distracting every mind so that they do not think about things like this. They would use the word government, which literally means mind, control, mind. Govern, control of, over. Mind is Latin and comes from Latin menti, which is mind. So government literally means control mind. If this makes sense and these ideas feel real, maybe they are worth investigating. So what if then this baseline state in which all other things, thoughts, ideas, reality bubbles up from this Planck's scale? What if then we could call that God, or the absolute, the all-encompassing energy that creates everything, and that we are the focus of our own reality. We are the gods of human life and existence. We are our own creators of what we are and how we function within the universe. That power is all-encompassing. It is omnipresent. It's always there, always will be there, and always had and always will create whatever consciousness dictates from, as far as we know, our own ideas, concepts, and the way we create our existence. What if that is the true God? That is the absolute power, which does not care what you do or think about. It has no right or wrong, but it has consequences for creating things which harm yourself and others. You always reap the whirlwind in which you create. So create it well, or reap it well. Reap it. Is that not familiar to the stories we have heard in these ancient texts and biblical tales? Is it not us which is the power? We are given the power to create. We are the creator. We are the creators. But we may have been tricked into believing that it is outside of us which gives us the life we lead, rather than what is within each of us, the power to create reality with the way we think and do things within our own minds. Our minds are just something which is suggested. We are never taught at school level education or even college level education on how the mind really works, how you work, how you function. The deeper inside reality, the real self of who you are, is something which is further education, which either is glimpsed upon in psychology, psychiatry, and biology, but it doesn't mix well with what you experience in your inner world, your inner dialogue. Your ideas and thoughts and concepts and creativity is something personal to you, but we all can access it and we all have it. But it may have been lost or misplaced because The world is not fair. People have things, others have nothing. Is this the world in which you would think a creator or a higher power or the absolute would it care about that whatsoever? Or does it only know what is created and how it is created? Could this be a truth? Could it be a reality? Could it be the way in which the universe and beyond works? I don't know about God, but I do know there is something else other than what I am, and I feel part of it, and I know you do too if you thought about it in the correct way. It can be natural. People know they are part of something bigger. Others need to discover it. This is what hope is. This is what evolution is. It's trying to find out what we are, how we work, where do we really come from. Well, again, if you want to roll back, we come from a spark, a thought in our parents' eyes and mind, and then we grow inside a womb, and then we are created, and that creation comes from a thought or thoughts. Is this the way reality really works? You decide that. Now, if all this is not the case and incorrect, and the world works in which most people believe it does, well, that is probably why the world is in such disorder and chaos, because there is not enough focusing and thinking about what we want. It's just a jumble of mixed emotions and ideas which nobody really agrees upon. Look outside. Is that the world in which we really want? Especially us in the West, which are mostly distracted most of our lives. Most people don't get what they want. Most people don't think about what they want to a degree in which it starts to bubble up from whatever you believe your thoughts turn into. Is it just random? Is it just a mess of blancmange in which one day we hope some of it sticks to the wall instead of sliding off and becoming a heap of mess on the floor? The world is in disorder. The world is not focused on anything. The world is in a state of flux. The world is not what you want it to be. There are very few people, let's call it the 1%, that get most things that they desire. Now, the question is, what is the difference between those minds and your minds? Now, some may just be lucky and have the natural ability to think about things and contemplate things in the right order and sequence to create a reality that they desire and then will into existence. And then there are some that may have been taught this through family members or clubs or whatever religions that they might be part of. Does this make more sense? Or does the randomness and mishmash of this chaotic circus we call planet Earth, is that the way it is? And is that the way it will be? Because if it carries on that way, what will become of us? What will become of you? What I will see the sense and know that their ability to create the world in which they want starts deep inside of themselves. Is this not the true reality in which we all desire? Could we not all will our own reality into existence? If you believe the latter, then you may want to start a journey and a direction toward that self-ability, that self-realization that you are the creator of your world. If not, hope that you are lucky.